I'm Azaria Tagaya and this is Nightline, the top stories. Cabinet withdraws urban renewal bill for improvements. And Prime Minister calls for cancellation of large-scale pig farming project in Bukit Tagaya. Good morning. The Cabinet has agreed to withdraw the Urban Renewal Bill to allow for further improvements before it is retabled in Parliament. Unity Government spokesperson Datuk Fahmi Fadil said the decision was made during the Cabinet meeting on Friday, following discussions on the need to establish a more comprehensive legal framework. Speaking at a post-cabinet meeting press conference, Fahmi said the move was taken after taking into account concerns and feedback from various stakeholders, including lawmakers.
Sebahagiannya mengambil kira pandangan ahli-ahli Parlimen yang telah membahaskan di Dewan Rakyat. Sebahagiannya ada melibatkan maklum balas yang Jemaah Menteri telah terima dari rakan-rakan UMNO dan juga ahli-ahli Jemaah Menteri yang lain. Dan sudah pasti kita inginkan undang-undang pembaharuan semula bandar ini diberi satu bentuk ataupun to incorporate, menerima semua pandangan-pandangan ini dan dimasukkan ke dalam draft undang-undang ataupun blue bill itu sendiri.
Fahmi, who is also the Communications Minister, added that the bill would only be retabled in Parliament after undergoing the necessary refinement processes. The redrafting bill will be carried out by the Attorney General's chambers before the bill is presented to the Cabinet. Housing and Local Government Minister Ngako Ming had previously said his ministry was ready to table the bill for its second reading in the current parliamentary session. The first reading in the Dewan Rakyat was held on August 21st last year. The proposed law was aimed at facilitating the redevelopment of ageing neighbourhoods, but it became the focus of public debate, with critics raising concerns over homeowners' rights and the potential impact on communities in older urban areas. Meanwhile, UMNO has welcomed the Cabinet's decision to withdraw the proposed Urban Renewal Bill, stressing that the proposed law should only be retabled in Parliament after substantial improvements. Its Secretary-General, Dato' Ashraf Wajdi Dusuki, in a statement reiterated that the party is not against urban development but maintains that the bill requires further refinements. This includes the 14 proposed enhancements agreed upon at the Urban Renewal Convention held last October, which discussed the implications of the bill. Prime Minister Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim has suggested that the large-scale pig farming project in Bukit Tagaya, Selangor be cancelled or relocated to a more suitable area. He said he would discuss the matter with Selangor Menteri Besar Datuk Sri Amiruddin Shari to find the best solution to the issue, which has caused concern among the local community. According to Anwar, the issue was discussed at Friday's cabinet meeting following concerns raised by local residents.
Malah isu kadang gunakan ayam, gunakan khinzir lebih lagi, masalah pencemaran yang sangat berat seperti mana berlaku di Maurib sekarang. Sebab itu kita tidak boleh pandang ringan dan menganggap ini boleh diselesaikan dengan mudah.
He added that the Cabinet also discussed the option of developing the project in the same area but under strict conditions, including requirements on the use of new technology. Last week, Amiruddin said the Selangor government has yet to find an alternative site to replace Bukit Tagaya for the relocation of pig farms in the state. On January 10th, the Sultan of Selangor, Sultan Sharafuddin Idris Shah, voiced strong disappointment over the state government's decision to allow pig farming to continue in Tanjung Sepat, Kuala Langat before the planned relocation to Bukit Tagaya in 2030. The ruler cautioned that the move could exacerbate pollution problems that have affected the area for the past 16 years. Meanwhile, Anwar also raised concerns over the entry of electronic waste or e-waste into the country, saying it clearly contradicts the government's stance.
Hal-hal ini harus dipantau dan saya bagi laluan penuh. Petang ini saya akan dapat laporan daripada Ketua Duit Negara, kemudian SPRM, LHDN, AMLA, itu harus Bank Negara harus teruskan tugas mereka membersihkan saki-baki ranah rasuah dan penyalahgunaan kuasa.
It was reported on Wednesday that the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission, MACC, will intensify investigations into illegal e-waste imports following intelligence that revealed between 2,000 and 3,000 containers of e-waste are smuggled into the country through major ports monthly. The Malaysian Communications and Multimedia Commission, MCMC, has lifted its temporary ban on X's artificial intelligence AI chatbot, Grok. The Commission removed the restriction on Friday after the social media platform implemented additional prevention and security measures. The MCMC added that a meeting was recently held with the Communications Ministry and representatives from X to discuss the issue. The session focused on obtaining the platform's clarification on the matter and its commitment to complying with Malaysian laws. MCMC stressed that user safety remains a top priority and that any breaches or violations of the law will be dealt with firmly. Former Armed Forces Chief Tan Sri Muhammad Nizam Jaafar was charged in the Kuala Lumpur Sessions Court on Friday with 4 counts of corruption involving more than 3.75 million ringgit. The 60-year-old accused pleaded not guilty to 2 counts of abusing his position for gratification, 1 count of criminal breach of trust (CBT), and 1 count of accepting valuable items without consideration. The charges were read before Judge Rosli Ahmad. On the first and second charges, Nizam, who was then the Assistant Chief of Staff for Personnel Services and Armed Forces Welfare Fund (TKAT) Executive Committee Chairman, is accused of using his position for gratification amounting to over 552,000 ringgit. The offences were allegedly committed on June 24, 2024 at the Defence Ministry, where he allegedly appointed several companies linked to his interests to supply Hari Raya gift items to TKAT last year. On the third charge, Nizam, in his capacity as chairman of the fund's investment committee, is accused of committing CBT involving 3 million ringgit belonging to the TKAT. The offence was allegedly committed on October 4, 2024, when he allegedly dishonestly misappropriated the funds by making an additional investment in Precious Amber International Berhad without approval from the committee. On the fourth charge, Nizam is accused of accepting 200,000 ringgit without consideration from Aspen Red Sendirian Berhad director Wan Shafi'i Abdul Rashid in March last year. The accused, who was then the Armed Forces Chief, allegedly accepted the money with knowledge that the individual had dealings connected to his official duties at Wisma Transit Kuala Lumpur. Rosli fixed bail at 180,000 ringgit with one shorty and ordered the accused to surrender his passport to the court. The judge also fixed March 31st for case mention. Meanwhile, former Army Chief Tan Sri Muhammad Hafizuddin Jantan was hauled to the Shah Alam Sessions Court on Friday and slapped with 2 fresh charges of money laundering amounting to 145,000 ringgit. The 58-year-old pleaded not guilty to both charges after they were read out before Judge Datuk Muhammad Nasir Nordin. According to the charge sheet, Hafizuddin had allegedly received proceeds from unlawful activities involving 115,000 ringgit between September 19th, 2024 and November 28th the same year, as well as 30,000 ringgit on May 19th last year. The funds were allegedly transferred into his Maybank account at the bank's Ampang Point branch. The court allowed the case to be transferred to the Kuala Lumpur Sessions Court to be tried together with Hafizuddin's 4 other charges as they involve the same witnesses and facts. The court also upheld the 250,000 ringgit bail previously imposed on the accused and allowed the case to be mentioned on March 30th alongside the earlier charges. On Thursday, Hafizuddin pleaded not guilty to 4 similar charges involving over 2.1 million ringgit. His third wife, Salwani Anwar, was also charged with 4 counts of receiving proceeds of unlawful activities amounting to 77,000 ringgit. The fatal bus crash that killed 15 students from University Pendidikan Sultan Idris UPSI was primarily caused by brake failure and excessive speed. A special task force from the Transport Ministry also found that the vehicle had been operating illegally. The findings were part of a final investigation report which was released on Friday. According to the report, the vehicle was operated by a company that did not hold a valid license or permit for tour bus operations. Investigators also found that both bus drivers had several unresolved traffic summonses, with one driver's license having expired since November 1998. The 188-page report further revealed that none of the passenger seats were equipped with seat belts. Other violations include the absence of safety officers, non-functioning GPS systems and and lack of driving and rest monitoring records, among others. The fatal crash, which occurred on June 9th last year on the East-West Highway in Gerik, claimed the lives of 15 students. The horrific accident also left 33 others injured, including the driver and 3 passengers of a multi-purpose vehicle. An Indonesian woman has become the first person in Malaysia to be sentenced to community service for littering in a public place. 49-year-old Anita Lukman pleaded guilty at the Johor Bahru Sessions Court on Friday to disposing of solid waste on a public street. Anita was fined 500 ringgit and ordered to perform 6 hours of community service. She may also face a 15-day jail term in default and could be fined up to 10,000 ringgit if she fails to complete the community service order. Anita admitted to discarding a cigarette butt and a plastic bottle on Jalan Ibrahim Sultan, Tulang Laut on January 1st. In a separate proceeding, a 28-year-old Bangladeshi man, Muhammad Sultan, was charged with committing a similar offence at the same location and time. His case was postponed to January 28th to allow for a Bengali interpreter to be present. The ringgit strengthened past a key psychological level to 3.99 against the US dollar on Friday, marking its strongest level in 5 years. It gained 1.4% against the greenback year to date, outperforming other ASEAN currencies. Investor sentiment also improved after US President Donald Trump withdrew a tariff threat linked to Greenland. Meanwhile, the country's stronger than expected economic performance has also attracted foreign investor interest, providing further support to the ringgit. On Thursday, Bank Negara's decision to maintain the overnight policy rate at 2.75% has reinforced positive sentiment towards Malaysia's economic outlook, both domestically and globally. Now, the ringgit's strengthening and improving market sentiment reflects both external support and stronger domestic fundamentals. Economist Paul Anthony Maria Das said the stronger ringgit is a positive sign driven by a combination of global developments and improving confidence in Malaysia's economy.
Exports, especially in the electrical and electronic sectors, remain resilient, and tourism has recovered strongly. And the country continues to record a current account surplus. Okay, so all these factors help bring in foreign currency and support the ringgit.
Das added that Malaysia's stable economic fundamentals, together with a steady monetary policy approach by Bank Negara and clearer signals from the government on fiscal discipline and reforms, have helped restore investor confidence.
2026. What opportunities lie ahead for Malaysia's economy? Which sectors and reforms will influence business confidence? And as global tensions rise, where will the key opportunities lie? Muhammad Ahmad Hamdan speaks with Socio-Economic Research Centre's Executive Director Lee Heng Gui, only on Money Matters this Saturday at 5 p.m. on TV3 and stream on Tonton.
Malaysia's economy is expected to grow between 4.3 and 4.7% this year. The projection by TA Securities is higher than the government's forecast of between 4 and 4.5%. According to the investment research firm, the International Monetary Fund has acknowledged the country's economic resilience, raising Malaysia's gross domestic product GDP growth forecast to 4.3% for 2026 and 2027. Growth this year is expected to be supported by strong domestic demand and ongoing development projects spanning several years. The national economy is also set to benefit from robust exports of electrical and electronic E&E products alongside increased tourist spending. The overnight policy rate, expected to remain steady at 2.75% this year, is seen as supportive of business activities. Meanwhile, inflation is projected to remain moderate, ranging between 1.5 and 2%. International drug syndicate busted. More from the local front after this breather.
Unlocking the future of business.
From industry evolutions to policy changes, we go beyond the headline.
Deep insights, sharp analysis.
Understanding the forces driving tomorrow's economy.
Key financial insights that drive decisions.
This is Money Matters, every Saturday, 5 p.m.
Only on TV3 and stream now on Tonton.
Wanita penuh tempo, penuh cerita. Inilah Nona, inspirasi bertemu realiti. Setiap warna mempunyai keupayaan membangkitkan pelbagai mood dan emosi. Semoga istirahat anda memberi makna yang indah walau tempohnya hanya seketika. Dan terus setia sejam bersama kami kerana Nona, inspirasi wanita untuk semua. Nona di TV3 dan stream di Tonton.
조경한테 반장님 변호사님 어깨 치고 싫어 우주치간 도라이 사랑은 왜 잡든 건 없는 거거든
난 아니라고 난 절대 아니라고
우리가 변호사와 살인명사로 만나게 될 줄
Dia very intense. Lepas tu saya duk menangis je lah. Memang nampak mata bengkak ni. Ya Allah, tak boleh nak tahan lah.
Bagi orang filem, saya rasa cukup komplit. Dan apa yang membuatkan dia betul-betul meremukkan hati kita ialah kita tahu ini cerita betul.
Ya Allah, dia bermain dengan jiwa gila-gila punya.
Saksikan filem The Voice of Hin Rajab di pawagam yang berhampiran dengan anda.
Dengan setiap pembelian tiket, RM1 akan disalurkan ke tabung kemanusiaan Palestin di Prima.
Thanks for sticking with us. Now, police have busted an international drug trafficking syndicate after uncovering 37.3 million ringgit worth of drugs hidden inside a luxury bungalow in Ipoh, Perak. Bukit Aman Narcotics Crime Investigation Department NCID Director Datuk Hussein Omar Khan said authorities arrested two suspects, a man and a woman in their 30s, during a raid at the residence on Jalan Tun Dr. Ismail last Friday. During the operation, police seized more than 838 kilograms of methamphetamine, 679 kilograms of liquid and powdered chemicals, as well as drug processing equipment. Further checks led to the discovery of over 618 kilograms of cement-like slabs, later confirmed to contain MDMA. The syndicate is believed to have been active since December 2024, using the bungalow as a storage site. Both suspects who are unemployed tested positive for drugs and have prior records. They've been remanded for 13 days until January 29th to assist investigations under the Dangerous Drugs Act. Police are also tracking down a Chinese national believed to be the syndicate's mastermind. Depression has been identified as the cause behind the deaths of a married couple in Sri Aman, Sarawak on January 14th. State Police Commissioner Datuk Muhammad Zainal Abdullah said statements from family, friends and colleagues suggested that the husband, a headmaster, had been suffering from depression since being transferred to a school in Lubuk Antu. According to Zainal, police investigations and evidence revealed that the incident only involved the couple.
Kes ini telah pun selesai dan hasil daripada siasatan kita, senjata yang digunakan dalam kes ini hanya ada DNA untuk kedua-dua mangsa saja, tidak ada DNA asing.
The victims, 45-year-old Andy Roy Junran and his 44-year-old wife, Angeline Kibin, were found dead with serious injuries at a house in Taman Mutiara, Jalan Brayun. Police have recorded statements from 30 witnesses, including the couple's neighbours and a pathologist. The probe is now awaiting the results of forensic examinations of the victims' mobile phones to determine the actual motive behind the incident beyond depression. Investigators also confirmed that there were no signs of forced entry or missing items from the couple's home. In Sabah, a man was killed while another was seriously injured after the pickup truck they were in plunged into an open sewer construction pit in Lahad Datu on Friday. According to firefighters, the vehicle landed on its side in the 7-metre deep hole, trapping the two victims. In the incident at about 7 a.m., the driver, Williamila Hajul, is believed to have lost control of the pickup truck before striking a road barrier and falling into a pit along Jalan Pantai. Williamil sustained a broken arm while his passenger, Muhammad Almadi Hassan, died at the scene. Firefighters from the Lahad Datu Fire Station were alerted at 7:04 a.m. and arrived minutes later. Both victims were retrieved using ropes and a stretcher before the body was handed over to the police for further action. It was reported that the project site was under construction, with barriers in place but no solid cover. The site has since been secured following the incident. Celebrity preacher Syed Shah Iqmal Syed Muhammad Shaiful, also known as Da'i Syed, was sent back to Kajang prison on Friday after the Shah Alam High Court dismissed his appeal against his rape conviction and sentence. Judge Adlin Abdul Majid upheld the Session Court's 2024 decision after finding that the conviction and sentence handed down was safe. The court also ruled that there were no special circumstances to warrant a stay of execution. The accused had served 21 days behind bars before being temporarily released pending his appeal at the High Court. On August 30th, 2024, the Sessions Court sentenced Syed Shah Iqmal to 10 years imprisonment and 3 strokes of the rotan after finding him guilty of raping a 23-year-old woman in 2019. All Indonesia plane crash victims recovered. The details when Nightline returns.
Kenapa ni? Pasal Matul Alin. Malin dah mati.
Itu tiram. Macam ada hantu. Hantu? Duit sewa kat Kuala Lumpur tu je korang lebih 1,000.
Masa kita pergi konsert road tour, malam Jumaat.
Memperkenalkan isteri baru saya.
Di Cerekerama TV3 Sabtu ini 10 malam dan stream sekarang melalui Tonton.
2026. What opportunities lie ahead for Malaysia's economy? Which sectors and reforms will influence business confidence? And as global tensions rise, where will the key opportunities lie? Muhammad Ahmad Hamdan speaks with Socio-Economic Research Centre's Executive Director Lee Heng Gui. Only on Money Matters this Saturday at 5 p.m. on TV3 and stream on Tonton.
Di tengah ketakutan, suara kecil ini meminta simpati. Ini adalah pertanyaan kepada dunia. Di manakah hati dan nurani?
Terbaru ditonton.
Cik Rashid, kenalkan akun kami Laila dan Amina.
Bos rasa Lemina share tu betul-betul genuine ke?
Dia orang ada sesuatu yang interesting.
Kadang-kadang dalam hidup ni kan Amina, bila nak jadi baik, kita kena berlakon jadi baik.
Laila mula sedar untuk senang dapat duit bila menggunakan simpati dan agama.
Sekarang kau baru faham. Tapi takkan tak ada orang kampung yang kenal dia. Dia orang kan famous kan?
Muat turun dan layan tonton sekarang. Semua favourite anda di sini.
On to the foreign front now. Rescuers have found the bodies of all 10 people on board a chartered plane that crashed into a mountain in Indonesia on the weekend. The bodies of the 2 remaining missing people were found on Friday morning. 8 bodies were recovered earlier this week as rescue teams searched the mountain's steep slopes, with operations hampered by rugged terrain and poor weather. Indonesia's National Transportation Safety Committee is investigating data from the black box, which was recently recovered. The ATR 42500 turboprop carrying 7 crew members and 3 passengers lost contact with air traffic control at around 1:30 p.m. local time last Saturday over the Maros region in South Sulawesi. Wreckage from the aircraft, including the fuselage, sections of the tail and windows, were discovered near the mountaintop on Sunday. Japanese Prime Minister Sanai Takaichi has dissolved parliament in advance of a snap election scheduled for February 8th. Japan's parliamentary speaker on Friday read out a letter formally dissolving the lower house. The dissolution of the 465-member chamber clears the way for a 12-day election campaign, which officially begins on Tuesday. Takaichi had announced on Monday her intention to call an election. Elected in October as Japan's first female leader, Takaichi has been in office for only 3 months, but she has seen strong approval ratings of about 70%. The United States has refused to pay the arrears estimated at $260 million amid their withdrawal from the World Health Organization (WHO). In a joint statement, U.S. Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy and Secretary of State Marco Rubio on Thursday announced that all U.S. government funding to the WHO has been terminated. U.S. personnel and contractors have been recalled from WHO headquarters in Geneva, Switzerland, as well as from offices worldwide, and hundreds of U.S. engagements with the organization have been suspended or discontinued. President Donald Trump signed an executive order a year ago initiating the withdrawal, citing criticism that the WHO was too quote-unquote China-centric during the COVID-19 pandemic. The U.S. Department of Health and Human Services said it took the decision due to the WHO's alleged mishandling of the pandemic. We turn to sports now with badminton and the 2026 Indonesia Masters. The national shuttlers put on an impressive display on Friday after advancing to the semi-finals of the Super 500 tournament in Jakarta. Men's doubles pair Go Zifei and Nurizuddin Rumsani lived up to expectations by storming into the semi-finals. The fourth seeds were in full control, brushing aside South Korea's Cho Sung-hyun and Lee Jung-min 21-17, 21-13 in the quarterfinals. The win marked Zifei and Nurizuddin's third semi-final appearance in their last 5 World Tour outings. Next up, they will face Denmark's Daniel Lunga and Mads Vestergaard. Meanwhile, world number 2 women's doubles pair, Pearly Tan and M. Tina, moved a step closer to their first title of the year after advancing to the semi-finals. The top seeds needed just 29 minutes to defeat South Korea's Kim Yoo-jung and Lee Yoo-lim 21-15, 21-9, moving within 1 win of reaching a second successive final. They will take on home pair Lani Tria Mayasari and Apriyani Rahayu for a place in the final. Earlier, mixed doubles world champions Chen Tangji and Zhou Yiwei powered into the semi-finals, setting their sights on toppling world number 2 Jiang Zhenbang and Wei Yajin of China. The world number 4 duo delivered another assured performance, defeating the Singapore-Indonesia pairing of Terry He and Gloria Wijaya 21-16, 21-19. Joining them was women's singles shuttler Kayla Chana, who reached a career best milestone by advancing to her maiden semi-final. The world number 42 continued her fine run by defeating Taiwan's Huang Yushun 21-17, 21-18, earning a last 4 clash against Thailand's Pichamon Apatniput. On to football now. In the Malaysia Cup, 2 second-leg round of 16 matches were played on Friday night. Terengganu FC booked their spot in the last 8 with a dominant 5-0 win over Damansara United FC for a 7-0 aggregate victory. At the MBPJ Stadium, Selangor FC secured their place in the quarterfinals after beating Kelantan the Real Warriors 3-0 in their second-leg clash. The hosts opened the scoring in the 20th minute through Grigor Moraes. Faisal Halim doubled the lead in the first half's added time before Moraes grabbed his second goal of the night midway through the second half to seal an emphatic 3-0 victory on the night and a 5-1 win on aggregate. Well, that's it for Nightline this time around. Before we leave, let's take a look at Iraqis enjoying the snowfall in Mosul, the country's second largest city located in northern Nineveh province. With that, I'm Azaria Tagaya. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.